Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in our festive Madison Square garage around the festive pool table of relevancy. I'm going to do it again this week.
Festive.
Festive. We are here to talk all things pro wrestling, and today we are going to be reviewing Saturday night's main event and all other things of noteworthy occurrence.
Yes, words. I like your shirt, Reece.
Yep, I like my shirt too. I like your shirt, Dan. It's looking pretty good.
They're great shirts.
A bit of the theme going on.
Was this maybe because Kevin Owens was fighting for a world title that he hasn't won in 4 years and probably should have won on this show, but he didn't because they booked it terribly?
Insert picture here of what should have happened. Let's just kick it off with that. Probably the most noteworthy thing to go off from Saturday night's main event.
Happened not on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. What?
The most noteworthy thing from the entire show.
I see what you're getting
didn't
at.
actually happen
Because
on the entire show.
The show went off the air. We got Kevin Owens with his package pile driver on Cody Rhodes. Cody gets stretched out, and then we get that magnificent picture, KO walking out with the WWE Championship.
Yep, and Triple H.
The Winged Eagle Championship,
yeah.
which we all thought it was going to happen at some point. We got the promo during the week. One night only, Cody. That's all you get. And that's all he got.
But he got it. And then, Papa H came out and confronted KO and was very angry about
Shoved
it.
him a few times. So it's going to be...
I think, look, let's holistically talk about Saturday night's main event, right?
Yeah.
As an event. I think it looked great. I think all the
Great
80s, 90s graphics was great. The music was cool. Jesse Ventura. Sure. I'm not going to comment much more than that.
I'll touch on it real quick and then we can just move on. Jesse Ventura is very pre our time era, so we don't give a shit. Moving on.
I mean, accurate. That's fair. It's the same kind of thing where we've said when they try and bring legends and stuff back in for things, they're often outdated.
Yeah,
and like getting names wrong and making references that were too old. Like he made a reference about how he was wearing the snakeskin thing, which was fine, and he called it Damien.
Yeah,
and I know that's because that's Jake the Snake Roberts' snake was called Damien.
People younger than us would likely not get that reference.
So it kind of fell flat. It was fine for the people that they want if they're targeting 45-year-old males.
Yeah,
and the Pat McAfees of the world, they'll pop hard for it, but everyone else maybe not so much. But yeah, in terms of presentation, that was great. I love that Pat was back for this. Obviously setting up his return for Netflix with him and Michael Cole.
Yep.
But in general, this was what Reece had said throughout the week, was this is going to be a glorified house show. And it was.
It was.
Nothing, apart from the amazing, incredible, finally rewarded Chelsea Green winning a title.
Yes. The inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion.
Not much happened.
No.
Nothing was bad though, right?
No, nothing. I think we collectively got our hopes up about Kevin Owens, and that maybe skewed my opinion a lot of how this show went. But everything else, didn't really expect Io to win, which was unfortunate.
It was a good match with her and Liv.
Coming into this, a lot of people thought, and especially because there were rumors going around that they had confirmed a title change for Saturday night's main event. I think that definitely got everyone's hopes up, and you could see it happening with every match, to be honest. There was some sort of story that could be told where each person could legitimately drop their title to work towards another story. So,
because what was the first match? First match was
Drew and Sammy.
Sammy Drew. That was great. That was what the crowd needed. It was a whole bunch of big spots. Was
4 to go.
Yeah, it was Drew winning, which he should have. But he hit the crowd off the way that they needed to, right? They started hot, straight into Drew and Sammy. Bunch of big moves between both of them, big kick-outs. A lot of people were calling this was going to be a squash match because it was a 2-hour event. You were only getting the 5 matches. How do you fit it all in with storylines? And what we assumed was going to be a whole bunch more backstage and different things with all the legends and all this.
Nothing.
But that didn't really happen. You got a couple of shots of, Greg the Hammer Valentine and Coco Beware.
Yeah,
and a bit
all the legends by ringside.
But that was 20 seconds and they were done. So there was really not much more to it. So it was just 5 straight matches, no major promos, nothing really between it. Look, great match the way that it was. We called the finish for Drew where as soon as he rolled in, I was like, Claymore, and bang.
And then it happened mere seconds later.
But that was fine. I was kind of expecting Jey Uso to come back.
Something.
In terms of that would have been a big pop for that crowd, especially on NBC. Like from us internationally watching this as a show that was on YouTube was fine, but I think we really need to understand the importance of this show being on NBC in the US. They don't normally get it. Right? It's been on Fox, it's been on US Network.
Yeah.
It's kind of like NBC is their prime time main. Everyone in the US watches the NBC. So this was the first time a lot of people had seen wrestling on that channel for 20 years. So the amount of eyes that were on this was way broader than it would have been. And it's obviously a precursor to the amount of eyes they'll get when they go to Netflix, right? So I was expecting something like Jey to get the massive crowd pop, everyone yeeting and stuff for him in front of a broader audience. Didn't quite happen. But the match itself was good.
Yeah, good match. No complaints. As already mentioned, Drew, after he beat Sammy, 1 down, 4 to go.
Yep.
Obviously alluding to him attacking Jimmy Uso on SmackDown to open the show. He came out and said that he was the one to take out Jey Uso. So again, leading into that. Who are the other two? Roman Reigns, obviously, because it's all about the bloodline. And then Dan mentioned that we might get CM Punk and Drew McIntyre again.
Oh,
that could be your number 4.
He was the 5th man in the War Games.
It just came to me right now.
Okay, yeah, please, enlighten us.
We've got the transfer window happening. We've got shake-ups happening. Drew and Cody at some point in the future.
Well, if
You've got plenty of time for Drew to focus on everyone else.
Yep.
And then, because Cody teamed with Roman at Bad Blood, he's now on that list.
He's a sympathizer.
Emphasize and propel that tribal chief character to other levels. So,
okay, I can see it.
Just something else. Just put it out there.
We then go into the EO and Liv match, which I think was very good. I think the part of it that I enjoyed was the presentation for the match where you had EO walk out with Dakota and Kyrie, and then they leave her and she goes by herself.
Yeah.
And Liv comes out and Raquel and Dom go to the back as well. So that we saw this was a one-on-one. And I think from all of the stuff that we've seen in the last few months with Liv and all of the questions you've had about her title reign is she hasn't really had any clean wins.
Yeah.
She's found her way to win. She's defended it when she's needed to, but it's been because of Dom or because of Raquel or because of something else that's got her to win. This was a clean one-on-one victory, her over EO.
Yeah.
Do I think EO should have eaten a clean pin? Probably not. EO's the better wrestler, I think, holistically in this. Yeah. But for the match to finish the way that it did, they go back and then Rhea comes out and confronts her. We knew that kind of was where this is leading, and I think that
literally called it seconds before it happened. I was just like, "This is my brutality," and then
it hit. Yeah, that was very well timed. So obviously, this is hopefully, please, dear God, Triple H, the end of the Rhea and Liv stuff. When we get to this match, do it at Netflix. Have the title change.
Please.
Give Rhea the title for the year.
Something fresh.
Get her feuding with Becky again. Get her feuding with Charlotte if she comes back. And Liv and Raquel can go for the tag titles or something else. I mean, as much as I love both Rhea and Liv, I need them separate.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
The story has run its course by a good couple of months, and we need it done.
Speaking of courses that have run matches that have run their course and needs to be done,
Finn and
Dominic
Damien-related things.
Finn and Damien, correct. But again, very good match.
Yes, agreed.
The triple threat style, and I love the start of the match where Finn was just trying to run out of the ring and they kept pulling him back in every time so he couldn't escape, which is the shitty little heel thing that he should do. I liked it. Michael Cole ceded the tension throughout the whole match that, Gunther has been doubting himself for months. He's not quite the same sort of champion that he was previously. He's, he doesn't have the confidence that he once had. Damien might have his number. They pitched all that together, and then all three guys put in a really good match. I think there were some really fun spots in here from the three of them in that, you were going from a a south of heaven into a sleeper, into a powerbomb, into a coup de grace, into all different moves. But again, Gunther was the one that got rid of Damien on the stairs. Finn hits the coup de grace, then gets powerbombed, and Gunther wins. Gunther wins clean.
Yeah.
We needed that.
Yeah.
Gunther
he needed that for this story and for that character, that doubt in the character they've been putting in for the last couple of months to be gone. And he's got that clean victory and it's done. And we should hopefully be back to good old Gunther.
Hopefully. The thing that I'm hoping for from this, which is not going to happen, but was that Gunther took out Damien and Gunther took out Finn. They didn't take each other out. We can maybe move on from their storyline.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. No. They'll keep fighting.
They're keeping on with that.
But Gunther getting the dominant victory is what he needed. So that was good. Then we had the US title.
Yeah. The match everyone was looking forward to.
Look, the crowd was hugely behind Chelsea, as they should have been. I feel bad for me.
Chelsea was behind Chelsea if you pay close attention to her gear.
To her gear? Yeah, it's everywhere.
Her face all over her gear. Loved it.
She's confident, mate. It's what Chelsea does.
She knew. Red, white and green.
Piper was ringside the whole time for a couple of spots.
Yeah, and you mentioned that for the Liv and EO match, how their counterparts stayed at the entrance ramp and then went backstage.
Yep.
As soon as I saw Piper come down with Chelsea, I was like, Piper's going to be helping her win.
Yes.
But that's, as Chelsea's heel character, that's what was needed.
Correct. And she only really helped her win by, the normal heel distraction of getting up on the apron for 5 seconds, distracting her. The finish for this match was superb.
Kiss.
Chelsea on the top, Michin going for her, and then she sort of jumps down, flips over the top of her into an unprettier.
It looked so
good.
clean, so smooth. Absolutely loved it. I think they need to utilize that sort of counter for it moving forward.
Yeah. I love the way that she flipped over into it. I think that's definitely something she can add to the repertoire for that move.
Absolutely.
Rather than the way Christian normally does it where he grabs and he turns.
Yeah.
The flip, I think, is a good look. The thing that I said when this match had finished and they sort of Piper put Chelsea up on her shoulders and there's a bit of fireworks and the camera lingered for too long, I was like, oh no.
Oh no, here comes Charlotte.
Here comes Charlotte Flair. And thankfully,
it didn't happen.
Not yet.
Chelsea got her moment, which is good. She got it at Saturday night's main event. They want to do something on SmackDown next week, which is a pre-taped SmackDown, so
hasn't been re-taped already though.
Apparently it was.
Or are they they'd be pre-taping it from this week.
Yeah.
Because this Friday would be the 20th in December.
Yeah, that would make sense that they're taping it this week.
Because then they won't.
I saw a lot of people talking about this week's SmackDown from yesterday.
Okay.
We're
not
recording
sure.
on Sunday.
We'd have to have a look. Because my assumption would be, they'll record on the 20th, as in they'll tape a show.
And then the following.
And that'll also be the 27th because you won't want to come back. Oh, but then they come back on Madison Square Garden and stuff on the 26th. So maybe it is the week before Christmas they get off. Who knows? Whatever. That's more semantics for us. But look, I think Charlotte comes back eventually and comes for a title.
Just put everything on Netflix.
All of it's going to be on Netflix. But look, that was a good match. And then we had the main event, right?
Yep. And it was a pretty even affair, I'd say.
They oversold the ankle.
Yes.
A lot.
The ankle was from 8 days ago, and there was nothing that happened on the recent edition of SmackDown to further aggravate that injury.
Because that was Gable against him the week before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a piece of story to sew into the match, which I think it did need something of that substance.
Yep.
But we had 2 ref bumps from 2 different refs.
And nothing happened.
And nothing happened.
There was no interference. There was no The Rock. There was no Randy Orton returns. Nothing.
Just a steel chair brought in the ring.
Yeah.
KO failed to use it. It's just sitting on the ground.
Cody used it.
Cody used the chair. He needed to use the chair to beat Kevin Owens.
Yeah, look, I think it was a good match. These two put on good matches. It was quite good. Yeah. It was anticlimactic from our perspective when KO didn't win.
Because we got our hopes up, obviously.
I mean, you can tell, right? Yeah. We were very much behind KO. And the fact that WWE, 2 days ago, put that KO retrospective video up on the YouTube channel, which was also great.
Very
Go watch
interesting timing on that.
So they're really pumping the KO story and then, not going to give us what we want. But I mean, that was fine. I think the thing with the ref bumps, the first ref bump was a strong one on Little Nate. That was a big bump.
Little Nate knows how to take some good bumps.
And then I was like, sweet, something's going to happen. And then we went to another ref straight in. I was like, oh, Okay, we're not. And then he took the ref up, and I was like, okay, now we're going to do something.
And then no.
And then they didn't.
That's when the jet came in.
So, look, it's fine. I think, again, we've said this for weeks. This whole KO storyline has been different. They've done the turn in the car park. They've done things from the car cameras. They've done interviews in the car. They've done him doing, phone videos and stuff. Everything's been shot differently. For him to then run back into the ring, hit the package pile driver, and then fight with Triple H off camera after the show, again,
just adds to it.
Shows that, they're trying to add that element of realism to this feud, that it's not just a TV product for them right now.
Yeah.
Overall, what we thoughts?
Look, without getting my hopes up, it was a good pay-per-view. Good matches.
It was a bunch of good matches. If you want to just go watch some good WWE wrestling and sit down for an hour and a half, it's great. It's non-consequential, I think, is the way that I would put it.
Good way to view it.
If you missed it, you missed it. If you didn't, it was good.
Yeah. No FOMO here.
Yeah. Before let's go on to the other shows. The one that you were talking about before we roll back to Raw is disappointment, and that's a key word that you've got here. And if you go and have a look at our TikToks, you can see a very disappointed Reece on a TikTok that he was filming. And I, unfortunately or fortunately, depends how you want to look at this, I had the news spoiled. So for those that didn't know, Carmelo Hayes last week on SmackDown confronted Nick Aldis, and he said, you can fight a debuting wrestler on SmackDown. And, there was, is it going to be Gunther? Is it a returning someone else? Is it Goldberg? Is it Penta? Is it, who could it be?
Someone.
And I had thankfully seen a spoiler about 2 days before I was watching SmackDown. I was like, it's going to be at SmackDown. I was like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. And so I didn't really care. But Reece hadn't seen that news.
I had not. I was so pumped, man. I was like, who could it be?
And you went live on TikTok filming yourself.
I had me a little video going, both cameras, and I was just like, who's going to be? And then they were building the tension, and then it's just Braun Strowman. I've never had the life sucked out of me so quickly.
The look on your face, even on the TikTok, you're just like, oh really?
So depressing.
Oh. It's like, it's probably not as bad, but it's like when you count down to the Royal Rumble and you get to number 30 and it was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, you're like, oh man.
Damn it.
So it was Braun Strowman.
Hooray. Cool. I mean, props to him, because it's been 9 weeks?
Since the
groin
monster
injury?
standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Coming back from an injury like that in 9 weeks, massive props to him.
Yeah. And I think
it wasn't until after the match was done that I was like, oh yeah, I suppose it's a cool thing that he's back so soon after that.
Yeah, well,
but I wanted someone else, man.
Bronson's been back for weeks, mate.
Yeah.
Until he shattered his fucking ankles.
He's missing on WrestleMania too, apparently.
Yeah, let's not talk about Bronson missing WrestleMania already, okay? That's sad. That makes me sad. Because he was a real good fit for the Bloodline too. I was really going to enjoy that.
That worked so well.
Do you want to talk about Raw first?
Yeah, we'll talk about Raw. One of the big things from Raw we'll touch on first.
Yep.
New Day.
The New Day sucks.
Big boos for the New Day. So,
look, I like this. You have said that you are waiting for them to be repackaged with new music.
Yes.
And so the way that they got around not having an entrance this week with Xavier Woods stealing the camera from Stu and walking from the back, very smart, very well done.
Good decision. Good decision.
We could see what you're doing here.
Yeah. Just waiting to drop that banger.
And the fact that the crowd just didn't even let them talk.
No.
And they tried, and then they got booed, and then they tried, and they got booed. This was Dom Mysterio. This is peak Dom Mysterio levels of boos. And this was not piped in.
No.
This was not Triple H just turning the volume up a little bit. This was the crowd legitimately not letting them speak.
And this is what they really needed to solidify that heel turn and cement them as some top heels moving forward. I don't think we can call the Judgment Day top heels anymore. They're just annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
I think New Day is going to take that mantle of top heels on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully get tag titles soon.
Yeah.
Because with the WWE product that's been happening at the moment, they've been doing lots of face versus face, heel versus heel matches. So I think there's a way to potentially work towards a heel versus heel Judgment Day and New Day at some point. I know we've got Judgment Day versus War Raiders on Raw this week, which...
And I'd hate to see the War Raiders win that, then drop them straight to New Day.
Yeah.
I don't want that
to have to be like New Day go on some sort of terror run and start taking people out.
I
And then
don't
maybe that
even know
leads
if
to
they get in the
Mania.
ring anytime soon. I reckon they can just milk these
Oh, they could
the
absolutely
booze for
do
a
it.
while.
Yeah.
Like I said to you, I think in a chat or something, we were saying the reason that the New Day has gotten over his heels so quickly and so loudly from the crowd's perspective is because of the sympathy that we have for Big E, right?
Absolutely.
If New Day did this on The Miz or on Literally or R-Truth or anyone else,
Inconsequential.
I don't think we would care as much. They did it on Big E. And I was calling this out because I think that you were saying the Roman Reigns, the promo he cuts on SmackDown with Paul Heyman, is very much still the tribal chief.
Yep.
And he's saying that he's coming back for his Ulafala and he's doing it because he wants his...
Oh, the Ufalafa.
Oh, don't shut up, LA Knight. I swear to God, you Oompa Loompa.
Oh, dude, it was... I laughed and then I felt bad about laughing because it was so disrespectful.
But he even tweeted it.
Oh, he tweeted... Well,
He tweeted it saying the Ulafala, the Ufalumpa, the Oompa Loompa, I don't really care. It's my world now. And I'm like, bro...
Yeah, all right.
Whoa, you're starting a fight.
Taken a notch down in my books.
You're starting a fight with Roman Reigns on that one.
Yeah.
But that promo that Reigns cut was much more tribal chiefy. And the reason that everyone's... And this goes exactly to the point that Kevin Owens has been saying, and Drew McIntyre and all that are saying, Roman hasn't changed.
No.
He's still the same person, but we're all cheering him now because we want to see Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I think that will stay the same because I think the fans are going to cheer him because we all want to acknowledge our tribal chief. We want Roman Reigns to be back. How is he going to get booed again? Paul Heyman. The same way the New Day have turned on Big E and everyone sympathizes with Big E because it's not his fault. He can't wrestle. He's not medically cleared. The second that Roman Reigns turns on Paul Heyman because of whatever this favor is for CM Punk, Reigns is a heel again.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're heading down the track because I don't know if I want to keep the face baby, like the baby face Roman Reigns.
I don't think it can last
so much,
that long.
Not so much the baby face Roman Reigns. A baby face tribal chief, I don't think you can do. I think that tribal chief character is inherently the bad guy.
Yeah, and you look at, like, I'm pretty sure that's what has propelled Roman to this babyface status currently is because we don't like Solo Sikoa that much. That having Roman Reigns back is better than what we're dealing with or were dealing with. We've got him back now. And yeah, there was just something about that promo, like right at the end when he's like, I'll get my Ulafala back and then everyone will have to acknowledge me. It was just the way he delivered that line. Yeah. I was just like, he's the same still.
Yep, he
He's
is.
the same.
Which Seth is right. KO is right.
Yeah.
Drew is right. Triple H's writing is right.
New Shield coming soon. You mentioned Seth. Let's move on to that from Monday Night Raw. CM Punk had a backstage interview with Jackie Redmond. Excellent interview. Called out Seth Rollins, stating that back in the day, Seth Rollins came to him for training. And that they were friends. They were buddy-buddy. And then things changed.
But Seth wanted it for free and he
Yeah.
expected it because he was entitled.
Yes, correct. We cut into a Seth Rollins promo in the ring with arguably the most outrageous outfit I've seen in my life.
What did I say? It looked like Big Bird had sex with Grover.
Yeah.
And then you said it looked like Sully
Sully
from
from
Monsters.
Monsters Inc. in a suit. It's just absolutely terrible. But we had Seth Rollins come out and say, yep, I went to Punk for training. That's all true. But we move on and Punk left and we were friends. And I tried to reach out to Punk and he ghosted me. And that's why I hate Punk. That's why he's a cancer.
So, I mean, I love the lines that Punk made before that, where Punk had said that, you know, Seth Rollins is one of the best. You know, he wants to be the best in the world. Yeah. He's won world titles. He's won Money in the Banks. He's won Royal Rumbles. He's done everything. But I did it before you, and I did it better. And you look career by career, and there's a picture that we'll put up here that editor Luke can chuck in there. Everything that he mentioned, Seth Rollins has done. CM Punk did it beforehand.
Yeah. Aside from the Royal Rumble win, that still eludes Punk.
Has Seth won a Rumble too?
Yeah, Seth won a Rumble.
Seth did,
that's how he got to Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. But the line that Punk made, where he said Seth wants to be top 10 wrestlers ever. When he was around, Seth was in the top 10 of people getting fired. But I shielded him from that.
Just the
On a
terminology
line.
is fantastic. I love it when they just like put little hints in there and other
And he knew exactly what he was saying.
Oh, so good.
Look, I think that this feud is going to be the WrestleMania feud.
It's got to be.
Let's let it roll for a few months. Let him tease it because this is really fun. Sammy coming out, calling out Seth, and then sort of saying, "Look, we're friends again, all right? It wasn't you.
we good?
You didn't take out Jay. We're good.
Good. We okay? It was
It's a little bit babyfacey,
yeah.
right?
It was a little bit too much, Sammy.
But then now he's like, well, I've got to deal with Drew, and then he has his match with Drew at Saturday night's main event, which we already talked about, and he claymore his head off.
Yep.
Didn't work out too well for Sam.
One thing I'm seeing a lot of mention of online at the moment is that they're likely to schedule Seth versus Punk for the Netflix kickoff, which
I think if you do that,
if it's a trilogy, like they did it with Jericho and AJ back when AJ first debuted,
or Punk and Drew,
yeah, like you've got that sort of feud outside of WrestleMania that can possibly lead into it or occur afterwards. I think with this, the first in-ring confrontation, it's got to be WrestleMania.
yeah, or it has to be the finish at WrestleMania, which
Yeah.
could be the end of the three, right? But if you do one at Netflix, do you then put the second one at Royal Rumble so neither of them are in the Rumble match? Because right now, that's probably both your picks to win, right? Your pick to win the Royal Rumble is The Rock, should he return,
Number 31.
or CM Punk,
Yeah.
right? If you have Punk versus Rollins at the Royal Rumble, then they're not in the match.
Yeah.
Then it opens up the field for what the Royal Rumble could be, and you maybe have somebody else win it. But I think everybody can see that one main event has to be around Cody, Rock, Roman, and that title.
Yeah.
The other main event has to be around Punk and probably the World Heavyweight title, because
Yeah.
I'm sure when Punk came back to Triple H, one of his things, and we've said it his whole career,
Want a WrestleMania main event.
there's no way he's not getting it.
He's got to get it. It's got to
And
be this.
he missed it last year because of his injury. I don't think they're going to say, look, maybe we'll do it in 26, because can you trust he'll make it?
Yeah.
If he's fit now is that shot.
Yeah.
He gets that main
And
event.
after this feud with Drew, Punk's looking the best that he's looked for such a long time.
Absolutely. And look, there's people clamoring online for a Punk and Roman match after the stare down from within War Games and things, and
Yeah.
how they've been. Like that spot in the cage between the two of them is one of the most viral clips WWE has.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
So I 100% think Punk has to be one of the main events.
Yeah.
And if it's him and Seth, it has to probably be for the title, and it should be the third. If you're going to start the matches at Netflix, it should be the
yeah.
third match by WrestleMania. So you probably do one at Netflix, one at Royal Rumble, one at or one at Rumble, one at Chamber, then Mania.
Yeah. I could see potentially Seth Rollins winning the Rumble. I think that'd be pretty cool. Not going to complain too much about that.
Yeah.
And then between Rumble and Mania, Punk calls in his favor for that title
gets the
match.
title.
And he
Yep.
gets a title at Chamber, most likely.
Yep.
And that way, if Seth wins the Rumble, you have your winner of the Chamber be the opposite show, whatever happens with this transfer window shake-up stuff.
Yeah.
And then Punk wins at the Chamber. You can then figure out for the next 6-7 weeks who's going where, who's challenging who.
Do you know what I actually wouldn't put off the table for seeing? Would be Punk winning the title from a favor on a Netflix episode. Yeah. Like just a couple of weeks in where Netflix are going to want to say, hey, we have to be must-see.
Yeah.
Things got to happen on our shows.
You got to expect things when they're unexpected.
So just maybe the Netflix after Royal Rumble, that's when he...
Boom, done.
You know what? There you go. That's your story. So you have your Royal Rumble. Seth wins it. So then that means Seth gets his WrestleMania,
Seth eliminates Punk to win it.
right? But that means Seth gets the WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
Punk doesn't. How does Punk get the WrestleMania main event?
That favor.
He gets the favor and he gets the title.
Yes. Do it. Do it.
Book it. Book it right now. Triple H, go.
Speaking of booking things by Triple H, the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. You mentioned last week.
I'm not tired. I'm just yawning.
You mentioned last week this has Lyra Valkyria written all over it. And due to the presentation on Raw for her, I am likely to agree because
Yes.
they were really focusing on her chanting during her entrance.
Wah!
Yeah. And then she won the match.
It's like a lame bird, Cody Rhodes. Wah! 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 Lamia Valkyria.
Ooh.
No?
It was terrible the first time you told it.
It's still pretty bad.
All right, we'll move into some news topics.
Lyra Valkylamia.
Stop. Ray Phoenix and his tweets as of late, stirring up a lot of interest in the professional wrestling world, to the point where someone took the time to craft a fake media release from Tony Khan talking about the Ray
Was that
Phoenix.
fake?
That was fake.
Yeah, okay, right.
Well, like, I was reading it and I was like, holy shit, this sounds kind of real. And then, like, they got to a paragraph where it was like, he was saying that he needed a doctor, but I thought he was saying that he was hungry. And I was like, yeah, there's no way
Tony
that's
Khan's
real.
bad, but he's not that bad.
He's not that bad. And then it's kind of weird that, like, after that whole stuff came out, Killswitch came out and said that, or someone got some news from Killswitch that medical's been treating him fantastically and he's on a good road to recovery. So it's kind of interesting timing for that. But it's interested a lot of parties in WWE as to what's been going on in AEW. Ray Phoenix is accusing them of treating him inhumanely, which is...
It's a big word.
That is a big call as well. Like, I needed a doctor and you wouldn't get me a doctor. You treated me inhumanely. Why would I be expected to stay? Like,
I mean, let's not throw rocks in glass houses here, but is that not what CM Punk originally complained about WWE when he left?
yes.
And the whole Colt Cabana podcast was essentially this whole thing. Times have changed. Punk's loving it backstage now.
Yeah.
So
He's been referred to as a model citizen.
a model citizen.
Model
what a
citizen.
hero.
CM model citizen Punk.
I was trying to think of a CM.
Model.
But
I
you've
didn't
got it
even
wrong
try.
around.
I
It's
just tacked it. into the
MC
middle.
Punk.
MC.
Throwing it around.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Citizen of models Punk. Not a topic to be laughing about.
But anyway,
Penta.
Ray Phoenix. So yeah, Penta's
yeah.
obviously a free agent now.
Yes.
He showed up at AAA Wrestling, so he might show up there. The thing obviously is we've had in the past some arguments between AAA and AEW with them not using the right talent. Obviously AEW now leaning more towards a partnership with CMLL than AAA. So very convenient that Penta shows up there instead. And I think that there is a strong chance that WWE are starting to open the doors to the smaller organizations. I know, what's his face? Shinsuke is having another match
In Noah. Yep.
in Noah. And I think that maybe if they do sign Penta, he might just pop up at AAA matches and stuff because
Yeah.
why not? WWE might let you now because they can play with their toys again. Does this mean that, Phoenix doesn't come sooner because AEW and then are going to hold his contract for the 12 months for the injury clauses, which he's got?
Yeah.
The problem with that is the amount of noise that Tony Khan used to make when Vince did that.
Yeah.
He was saying how horrible it was that, wrestlers were being taken from their livelihood and their matches and you're not letting them be released. If they're not wrestling, you're not using them, you're not wrestling on your TV, release them and let them do what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's going to go and do the same thing. But also,
It's business.
it is business, 100%, because then if he lets Phoenix go, then the next person, Buddy Matthews, is like, you know what, I don't want to be here either. I'll just release me or I'll sit on my couch for 12 months.
Well, you mentioned that. Apparently, Britt Baker stormed into the producers' offices and said, you either push me or you release me.
Yep. Well, Ricky Starks is another example from the last few months that's been hanging around. So, I mean, it's also a problem that we've got with the amount of talent that we have on wrestling TV right now. Not everybody can get pushes. AJ Styles has disappeared. He's not being used.
Yeah.
Hangman Page is in and out of stuff. Like,
Oh, AJ got injured. That's,
yeah. But, I mean, like Shinsuke, he wasn't injured. He was just
just
not
chilling.
used for 8
Just
months. Sometimes you sit and wait for your opportunity.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you cry
Gotta
like a
make your
baby
own.
outside the principal's office until they let you go.
Yep.
Do I think that this makes WWE a little bit more trepidatious with dealing with Ray Phoenix? Yes. Because him saying, look, when my
Publicly like that?
but he said, when my contract's up, you'll hear my side of the story.
Yeah.
And then subsequently tweeted half of his side of the story and then deleted it since.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not great.
I didn't notice that he deleted it.
They're all deleted. Bar the one that says, this is as close to the truth as you'll find, where someone said, like, this is going to get way worse than what we think it is. Which, like you said, it's a business. I don't know if WWE likes that from their wrestlers. I mean, it's the same as Dijak, right? The amount of times Dijak used to want to tweet stuff and was, not able to swear or say what he really wanted to say. And now that he's out of the independents, go for gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
WWE don't like that.
No. I think from the reports that I've read, they just want to know more about the story. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. I know a lot of people are expecting Penta to sign imminently, but maybe he just chills out for a bit on the independents in AAA. And
you don't think that he makes a speedy decision to join them?
No, I hope not. Not for the Speed Championship, man.
Right, they got Andrade back. What's the first thing they did with him? Speed champion Andrade.
Oh. Hey, WrestleMania tag team with Rey Mysterio, and then the Speed champion.
All right, let's do it the opposite way around.
No,
Penta can win the Speed championship.
Penta with anyone LWO.
Penta and Rey Mysterio against
no
Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams at WrestleMania.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, in order for him to not get lost in that sort of fold, maybe just like hold off on signing him until this whole Phoenix thing blows over.
Yeah.
His contract's done, and then you can just take them both, debut them together.
Yeah.
Like, you can get away with having Penta there solo, but I feel like it'd be more special if it was both together.
As long as you can call them the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can't trademark the Lucha Bros, can you?
I don't know, can you? Lucha House Party. Lucha, Lucha, Lucha,
Lucha. Couple more things to touch on. A couple returns that we've had happen this week. Pretty exciting news. Toni Storm has returned to AEW.
Who?
Toni Storm.
I don't know who you're talking about. Does she remember who she is?
No, she doesn't. She thinks it's 2022 all over again.
But Toni Storm is all elite.
Yeah, all elite. And having matches on Rampage and Collision.
Yeah, look, I love Toni Storm. I think Timeless Toni Storm was a fantastic gimmick, and I think that it had run its course, and I agree.
I think it was a good amount of time.
I kind of wanted her to evolve the gimmick, not forget the gimmick, right? So I think that, the Timeless character is from the 40s and 50s or wherever she is from the Hollywood era.
We've discussed this previously.
Move her into back to her 80s rocker character, but make her evolve from Timeless to 80s Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Not go back to the point where I've forgotten who I am and I don't know who you are. And like, hi, nice to meet you, Thunder Rosa. Oh, look, it's Mark Briscoe. Hi, my name's Toni Storm. Like,
A little odd.
That's a bit odd. And what I pointed out to you is when I watched her match on Rampage, which 100% her return match should not have been on Rampage, in front of 47 people, wherever the hell it was. She went for a hip attack spot that she normally does, and as she used to do the like,
I saw the clip of it. Is like,
yeah, she goes like that, and she went, oh no, rock. So she's like, it's almost trying to say that Timeless is still in there.
Yeah, it's almost like
trying
it
to
was
come out,
like
but she's like, no, it's
some
not.
sort of like dream or hallucination. Like, she knows that it happened, but she's not quite sure like how it happened. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book about that sort of stuff at the moment.
You read books?
Yeah, I read
Didn't
books.
pick that.
Well, it's based off a Dream Theater album.
Oh, there we
I'm not going to go too
There
in
it
depth
is.
with it because it's a concept album. Too much information. It's about like experiencing different lives in your dreams. So maybe that's kind of like what the Timeless Toni Storm character. It was just like a dream sequence for her,
Yeah, okay.
and now she's woken up and she's Toni Storm again.
Look, fine. If you're going to try and do storylines with like John Moxley and Darby Allin punching himself in the face until he bleeds.
I didn't even see the full promo. All I saw was the clip of him just like punching himself and then, you see this, I don't care about this.
But you can't have ultra realism in characters like that where everything is so real and everything is, that. And then you've got Toni Storm living in a dream sequence of whether or not she's the real person or not on the same show.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It is wrestling and pro wrestling, and we can get away with that kind of thing. But, you had, The Undertaker and Kane and all those different stories, and the Boogeyman opposite times with, Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, where they're trying to have their things.
Yeah.
Two very different ways of telling stories on the same wrestling product. But I feel like we have evolved so much now, especially with AEW, right? AEW is where the best wrestle.
Yep.
It's not about these sort of storylines. It's about the storylines where, you're burning someone's house down. I hate you, you hate me. Let's fight each other. If we're getting into dream sequences and crazy characters and all that sort of stuff, which is what Toni was before, I just don't think it fits.
Not with the AEW product, but I'm interested to see. Like, it's only been a few days for this Toni Storm return. I'd like to see where this goes before I shit on it more.
Belt her up because Mariah May's doing not much with the title. Yeah. Neither's Mercedes Moné, to be fair.
Another interesting story about Mercedes Moné that I read this week.
Yep, please. Enlighten me.
Who was it? Someone came out on social media. Maybe it was Britt Baker. Maybe it was someone else. No, it was Mariah May.
Oh, yeah, I did see this.
Yes.
I did see this story.
So apparently, Mercedes has come out and said in the past that she's in AEW to help teach the new talent, help like grow AEW as a brand for women's wrestling, yada, yada, yada. And then Mariah May's come out on a podcast recently or an interview that she did and said, well, if that's the case, then why don't you not seclude yourself in your own personal locker, come into the women's locker room and spend time with us and teach us and pass along this knowledge.
I mean,
I'm just going to leave it at that.
I have no comments about Mercedes Moné.
Meh, indeed. Other return that's causing a lot of ruckus on the IWC at the moment. And I know you don't give a shit.
Oh, this is the TNA one that I don't care about. Right, okay.
There were rumors coming around throughout the week that someone would be returning to TNA in the women's division, and she has returned. It is Tessa Blanchard. Dan doesn't know who she is. So as a bit of a backstory, back in 2020 during the pandemic, Tessa Blanchard was pretty much the face of TNA.
Okay.
She was at one stage the Knockouts champion, but she then went and won the men's world title as well, and she was the top face of that company. And then it was shortly after she had won that title that she sent out a tweet and she was like, see ladies, see what happens when you support each other? Good things can happen. And then all the discourse online came out. Oh, so supporting women like you spitting in the face of, I can't remember her name, Le Corona Negra.
You're looking at me like I should know who that is.
One of the independent wrestlers who was African-American.
Okay.
Spitting in her face and hurling racial slurs at her. And then it was just like, from there, it was just dominoes fell. All these racism and bullying threats that had happened previously had come to light, and she ended up getting axed from TNA.
Because when you said, "Oh, she's like the Hulk Hogan of the women's division," I had no context because I didn't know who she was. So I was like, "Oh, is she like this big jacked person that's like the face of the company that was pushed heavily?"
I think Tessa's pretty well built, but not Hogan sort of built.
And I was like, I don't. And then I saw a clip of her returning to TNA in like a weird ski mask and puffer jacket and taking out
Jordan Grace. Who
did she take out Jordan?
She took out Jordan Grace.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure.
I'm fairly certain it was Jordan.
Okay.
Who has during this, with all the rumors about Tessa returning, was saying that she just flat out does not want to work with her. And the current plan apparently is for Jordan to drop the title to Tessa.
Jordan's already dropped the title. Masha Slamovich has the title.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
See, I know TNA more than Reece does. No, but like I saw a recap of that and I saw her come out and I was like, oh, cool. I have no idea who that is. That's great. Yeah. And then I was like, how is she the Hulk Hogan of it? And then now that you bring this up, I'm like, oh, it's the racism part of Hulk Hogan, not the other part.
I was starting to get really high on Tessa Blanchard back then.
Yeah.
And then all that came out and it's just like, she's been doing nothing for many, many years.
What happened to all the stuff about Tiffany? Didn't Tiffany get caught out for saying some mean things to Naomi?
No. That was the Instagram story that she put up with a song that very poorly timed lyrics.
Oh, okay. So that was all swept under the rug and it was just all a miscommunication?
Yeah, and I think like when that happened, apparently there were conversations backstage like, hey, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I didn't realize it was that part of the song. Because like, it was a video of, I'm pretty sure it was Tiffany smashing Naomi or Jordan Grace with something.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the lyrics said black bitch. And it's like very, very poorly timed or whatever. Like if you want to jump on her back about it. But from all reports that I heard, it was squashed backstage internally and it was sort of...
Unlike this Tessa Blanchard stuff.
Yes, correct. Which is, apparently a lot of the TNA locker room are pretty unhappy about the fact that she's back. I've already seen a lot of people in the IWC unhappy that she's back.
So if that's the case, right, you've got the TNA locker room not happy with that decision. You've got the entire AEW locker room not happy that Toni Storm's back, debuting back on Rampage, right?
Swap them.
They're just, but yeah, well, maybe. But like both of the locker rooms are like the booking decisions being done right now aren't very smart and they're not liking it. No. And then you got WWE, it's like, let's just make more events and bring back more different title belts and we'll debut on a $5 billion deal in a couple of weeks. We're sweet, guys. Thanks.
Streaming along, mate. Streaming.
Yeah, funny.
It's very interesting times at the moment.
It is. What else do we have to talk about?
That's pretty much all I've got. We've got Tribal Combat. We did touch on Roman's promo. We didn't touch on like the whole crux of that promo was to challenge Solo Sikoa to Tribal Combat at Netflix.
For the Oofalafa.
For the Oofalafa. It sounds funny and that's why I laugh, but it's fucking disrespectful, man.
The Oompa Loompa.
One of the really interesting points that I thought from that was the fact that Tribal Combat is no disqualification.
Absolutely, The Rock is returning.
But Roman said, you leave your tribe backstage, I'll leave my tribe backstage.
Sure, The Rock's not part of either tribe right now.
Yeah.
It's The Rock. It's The
Rock.
You can try and tell me any bloody Wrestling Observer newsletter article written by Dave Meltzer or anything from Fightful Select that says The Rock is not ready for WrestleMania 41. They're not planning.
Bullshit.
The Rock, if there is a $5 billion deal for Netflix, The Rock is showing up on day one.
Yeah.
There is no way he's letting John Cena come back and have this year-long thing of John Cena's retirement tour.
We are taking some
And The
spotlight.
Rock's got nothing to do with it? No way.
No.
None.
We need to have that rubber match.
Absolutely.
We need to have that rubber match.
100%.
SummerSlam, Survivor Series, don't care. Book it. Cena's last match, Rock versus Cena, to figure out who truly is the GOAT.
Well, what was the Undertaker Triple H one? The end of an era match?
Yeah.
Is this the end of an era too?
Ooh.
Because, I mean...
Interesting. It technically is. Book it.
Book it, Triple H. Just we're giving you ideas. It's out the wazoo, mate. Just go for it. But 100%, 100% this Tribal Chief match on Netflix. It's the first time I've seen Roman on a Raw poster in a very long time.
Yeah.
It's The Rock. It's 100% The Rock showing up for this match.
We know Rock's going to be... We for sure know Rock's going to be there. Cena's going to be there. Punk, Cody, Roman. Like, anyone who's someone in the WWE right now, they will be there for that. Whether it's just like a cameo, a promo in the ring, a match, whatever. This is going to be a stacked card. Haven't discussed it too much yet, but I want to potentially try and do like a live stream or something.
Oh, we can try and do that.
We'll see what happens. Keep onto our social media platforms. We'll let you know if we do organize something, but we will be watching it live. We will then podcast straight after it and try and get a special episode out reviewing that because we...
News to me, but okay. I mean,
it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Absolutely pumped for this Netflix special. It's going to be great.
Yep. Agree. And I think that's pretty much all we got to talk about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the next couple of weeks, we'll try and do some maybe end of the year stuff.
Yeah.
Reflections. We've still got the AEW, the Continental Classic, heading up into World's End.
Yep.
Where we're finally getting that Adam Cole MJF match a year later. Let's see how that goes.
Who cares?
Moxley's got his four-way that he's not going to lose because why would the Death Riders lose the title already?
Yep.
You've got Willow Nightingale going over for a match in New Japan for that women's
Wrestle
legacy.
Dynasty.
Wrestle Dynasty. You've got Kenny Omega coming back. Then you've got Netflix. Then we've got the Royal Rumble. Mate, we're rolling
Time
in it.
for wrestling. It's good to be a wrestling fan.
It is. Do you know what else would be good? Get out of this hot garage.
Yeah. We'd wrap it up there.
Madison Square Garage is warm in summer, folks.
It is 30-something degrees outside. Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
Yes.
And it's hot. We don't like it.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap it up.
High gloss that Reece has up there. It's
Yeah, right. I was like, is it? I was like, yeah, kind of.
a little bit. Just a little.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been Mr. Dan Danielson. I have been Rowdy Roddy Reece. We have been in Madison Square Garage, around the pool table of relevancy. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on all social media platforms. Like, subscribe, all of the above. Comment, engage. We love you guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Too sweet. Boo!